guys, I moved to Halifax about 4 years ago after graduating from college in Ontario, and back then I didn't really know anything about the city. But once I got here, I was just so amazed by how much the city had to offer. Despite of its small size, when it comes to living here, it could actually be a little challenging when trying to figure out which area or neighborhood to live in, because there's so many options to choose from, and each of these options would appeal to a different group of people with different lifestyles and budgets. So in this video, I'll be going over some of the best neighborhoods in the city where you can consider living in if you're planning to move to Halifax, Nova Scotia. If this video helps you guys in any way at all, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to this channel so I can continue making more videos like these in the future and helping you guys out. Now let's jump right into it. Downtown Halifax is rated as one of the top neighborhoods for singles, young professionals, and students. So if you're someone who prefers to be right in the midst of all the action, then this might be the perfect place for you to live. Not only will you be close to some of the best cafes, bars, and restaurants in the city, but you will also just be a few steps away from the beautiful Halifax harborfront. There's a plethora of seasonal activities and events here in downtown Halifax that can be enjoyed all throughout the year, so rest assured you will never run out of things to do here in the city. However, being in the midst of all the action does come at a premium, so make sure you guys have a substantial budget if you guys do plan on living here. The average price to rent a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Halifax has gone up by almost 20% in the last 1 year. So right now you're looking at paying at least $1,500 plus utilities. Also, it's really hard to find street parking around here in downtown Halifax, and most apartment complexes will charge you a monthly fee that could be anywhere between $100 to $200. So in my opinion, it's pretty redundant to own a car if you're living in downtown, unless if you're planning on commuting outside of the city a lot. Alright guys, so next up is the North End, and this neighborhood used to have a pretty bad reputation until a few years ago and was referred to as one of the sketchiest parts of Halifax, but I can assure you guys that is no longer the case. I like to think of North End as the Brooklyn of Halifax. It is now a very trending area and people choose to live here because of its hipster vibes. There's no shortage of cafes and restaurants. The nightlife here is very lively, and you'll also find a bunch of old and vintage stores in this area. Most of the houses here in the North End are restored townhouses, and they also happen to be very colorful and very affordable in terms of rent. You can also walk to downtown from here in 20 minutes or less, or even hop on a bus. Also guys, I just wanted to add that if you have any questions at all about Halifax, please make sure to leave those in the comments below, or you can also shoot me a DM on Instagram, as I will get back to you as soon as I can. Alright guys, so next up is the South End of Halifax, and this is easily one of the most prosperous and affluent neighborhoods in the city. You will find a lot of really expensive Victorian style houses in this area. It is also home to Dalhousie, St. Mary's, and King's College University, so if you're a student living in this area, that would mean you'll have a pretty easy commute to college every day. Because of its superior location and newer houses, South End could actually be a pretty expensive area to live in. But with the right amount of digging and research, you will still be able to find a place that is affordable while also being close to your university. I would advise staying away from large apartment complexes and private units, because those could be pretty expensive if you don't have the right budget set aside. Alright guys, so another great area where you can consider living in is the West End of Halifax. Now West End is a little bit more residential and laid back compared to rest of the areas that I've mentioned in this video so far, but this could still be a great option for anyone who doesn't really care too much about like being in the middle of all the action or like going out too often. So if you're someone who wants to like focus more on their work or college, this could really be a great option for you. I personally have been living in the West End for the last 2.5 years and I've absolutely loved it. I've been living on Quinpool Road, which is actually one of the busiest streets in Halifax or like in the West End. But yeah, there's plenty of cafes, restaurants, and bars on Quinpool. There's a lot of local shops. There's also a grocery store over there. But also if you wanted to go to downtown, you could do that. You can walk there in like 30 minutes or less, or even hop on a bus. So yeah, it's still pretty convenient. Also, the Halifax Shopping Center is located in the West End, which is like one of the biggest shopping malls in Halifax, or actually in Nova Scotia. You'll find tons of shopping options. One of the main benefits of living in the West End is cheaper rent prices, because you're a little bit further from downtown, so the rent here isn't as high. So yeah, I personally love being able to save a little bit on rent while still not being too far away from downtown, you know? And I've lived in downtown in the past, so I've really had my fair share of that. So this is kind of nice for me. But yeah, definitely an area you should consider living in. Downtown Dartmouth has been becoming more and more popular with young professionals over the last couple of years, and it used to have a pretty bad reputation in the past, but that is no longer the case and is now a hotspot for some of the most hip cafes, restaurants, and shopping. To get to Dartmouth from Halifax, you can either take a short ferry across the Halifax Harbour or you could drive over one of the two bridges. Renting a place in Dartmouth is significantly cheaper than anywhere in Halifax, and that is one of the main reasons why it's becoming such a popular choice for people. For those of you guys moving with their families and kids, Bedford might be a good area for you to consider living in. It has the lowest crime rate in all of Metro and some of the best schools and teachers. There's a ton of parks with stunning views of the waterfront where a lot of events and festivals are held in the summer. There's also plenty of shopping available in Bedford, from malls to independent stores to groceries. You will never have to go too far for your everyday needs. One other area I quickly want to talk about is Westmount. Just like Bedford, Westmount is a great option for young families with kids. Westmount is the kind of neighborhood where most people just know one another by their names. This area also has some really good schools, parks, and a lot of other fun activities for kids, as well as a water park. Alright guys, so this is it for the video. I really hope it helped you guys, and if it did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions for me at all. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace!